showtime, folks.
Sort of the Kentucky shooting. In your statement at the top of the briefing, you're critical of Republicans, but you didn't mention anything that the president wants to do, is doing himself about this. Is he at the end of his ability to do anything when it comes to gun violence in the U.S.? Is he effectively at this point powerless?
Okay.
Zeke, as you know, and as I've talked about, the president has talked about many times, the president in his first 2 years of the administration has done more executive action than any other president.
Oh, really?
When it comes to gun violence, when it comes to stemming gun violence, when it comes to protecting our communities, our schools, and so he's taken action. He's taken action over and over again. Just last month, he was on the West Coast announcing another executive action, and we are seeing from these executive actions that he signed, more than a dozen, that the Department of Justice has taken some actions and pushing forward some of the kind of provisions in those actions, especially as you look at red flag laws and those types of programs. More than $300 million went to about 49 states and territories to put that into place in those states.
I can't say that word.
So there is actions that we have taken. The thing is, the president cannot do it alone. You know this. There is a legislative process that needs to happen, and Congress needs to act. And I listed out to ban assault weapons. Yes, the president mentions that over and over again. And high-capacity magazines, require safe storage of firearms, require background checks for all gun safeties, eliminate gun manufacturers' immunity from liability. Those are the things that need legislative actions. He cannot do it alone, and so we need Congress to act. And if you think about assault weapons ban, we know when the president was involved in 1994 to get that done, we saw gun violence go down, and when it sunset 10 years later, it went back up. So we know what could work, and that's why you continue to hear the president calling on Congress to take action.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
You're not announcing new actions now, and is the sense the president's done everything that he can himself?
Well, the president is always going to find ways, so is his team. Here, we have the Domestic Policy Council, you have other offices here at the White House, you have the Department of Justice. We're always going to find and figure out ways that we can take another step outside of all of the historic steps that this president has taken to announce another way to protect communities. But the president has done the work. Now we need Congress to act.
Who are these sick people?
Just to follow Ken's question to Kirby before about the press conference on this trip, 4-day trip to two countries. Why can't the president take questions from the press?
Right now, we just don't have anything on the books for a press conference at this moment. The president always loves to take your questions, shouted questions. Look, when it comes to these types of events, as you know, being the president of at one point of the association, these are relationships that we have, right, with these countries. So when it comes to 2+2s or anything like that, clearly that is not just on us, that is also on the country that we're visiting. But as far as a standalone press conference, I just don't have anything to share at this time.
Beyond seeking a stay, how do you plan to respond to the abortion movement?
So look, I don't want to get ahead of the courts here. As you know, that's something that we're very mindful of. The Department of Justice were quick to act, as you know, as you mentioned, the stay, and we're going to continue to move forward in that fashion. It probably is going to go up to the Supreme Court, which we feel pretty confident that we're going to win. But we're going to be very clear here. And I talked about this at the beginning, the disinformation, misinformation that's out there. Mifepresto is still very much available, very much available right now for women who need it or providers who need it at this time. And so, look, this is a president and an administration that's going to continue to fight to make sure that women have the health care that they need, to make sure that they make their own decision when it comes to their own body.
Bizarro.
And I also mentioned this too. This is what we're seeing currently right now. It's part of the plan, right? It's part of what we've been hearing from extreme MAGA Republicans in these different state houses, and of course national Republicans saying that they want a national abortion ban. This is part of this. And so they're going to continue to take those actions. I think we've seen more than 300 pieces of legislation coming out of state houses to take away a woman's freedom, a woman's right to make her own decision, a decision that should be between herself and her doctor. And so, look, the president's going to continue to fight for people's freedoms, in this particular women's freedom. And we saw what the American people said during the midterms. Like, they want us to continue to do that, continue to fight for their freedom.
Did no one ever?
Confirm on that. So the administration is going to comply with this federal judge's order.
Look, we are going to always follow the law, always.
What?
It doesn't mean that that we're not going to fight. Doesn't mean that we're not going to, as you know, DOJ has continued to appealed this, and will continue to fight in the courts.
And so will the administration then move to expedite reapproval of mifepristone?
What I can say is that right now DOJ has already stayed, as Steve mentioned, and is fighting to maintain the stay and ultimately win the case, as we believe, in the Supreme Court. And so we're going to let DOJ do their work, the Department of Justice do their work.
Can the FDA reapprove this?
How did this guy ever get to be president?
So what I can say is that we stand by the FDA's approval of mifepristone, and we are prepared for a long legal fight. That's what I can say from here. That's what we are committed to doing for the providers who are making sure that this is available to women, and also for women out there. But again, it's still available. And as we know, this is a decision is stayed for 7 days starting from this past Friday, and so the status quo remains. But again, we are ready to fight.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Thank you, Karine. AOC suggests that the administration should just ignore the ruling, and she said that, quote, "We know that the executive branch has an enforcement discretion." Is that true?
So this is similar, I think, to what Terry was asking me. Look, we understand the frustration, right? We get the frustration regarding this decision. Absolutely.
Really?
And that's why we were quick to act. That's why you saw DOJ take action. Basically what I said to Terry, we stand by FDA's approval of mifepristone, and we are prepared to have a long legal fight here. That is our commitment to women out there. That is our commitment to Americans across the country. But I'll say this, it is dangerous. But as a precedent, as a dangerous precedent is set for a court to set aside the FDA's expert judgment regarding a drug safety and efficacy, it would also set a dangerous precedent for this administration to disregard, right, a binding decision. So that's what I'm getting to. But again, we are ready to fight. This is going to be a long fight. We understand this. We stand by FDA's approval of mifepristone. This is a pill that's been around for more than 20 years. I believe 22 years. It's been used in 60 countries. So of course, this is something that we approve, and we stand by FDA.
It's over.
Clear for people watching at home who are listening to progressives saying, the administration actually has an enforcement discretion and they could ignore this. You disagree with that? So
what I'm saying is there is a process in place for appealing this type of decision, and we will pursue that process vigorously. That's what the American people can count on from the Biden-Harris administration, and do everything that we can to prevail in the courts. That's the commitment that we have.
And to follow up on Zeke, you mentioned that the decision whether to hold a 2x2 here at the White House is made by both the administration as well as the visiting party. But is the decision whether to have a press conference abroad in Ireland a unilateral decision, or are the Irish weighing in on that too?
No, I think I was very clear. I said when it comes to a press conference, standalone press conference, which does not include the country, we just don't have a decision. Well, we're just not going to happen. It's not in the books to happen on this trip.
It's your decision alone, right? The Irish aren't weighing.
I mean, if it's a press conference that the president is leading on his own, yes, it's a standalone. That's why I said a standalone press conference that is not happening on this trip.
Now I feel better.